The following program contains violence, disturbing imagery, nudity, and, oh my God, why are you even watching this? Just run away. This shit is going to give you nightmares.
Recorded live at the Jerrad Show studios in Tampa, Florida. It's another episode of the Jerrad Show. And now, here's your host, Jerrad Suarez.
That's right, back again for another episode of the Jerrad Show. Tonight is Tuesday, March 20th. Second night of Jerrad Show Classics. That's right, last night we played the Justin Scarred interview. And as promised, tonight will be a previously unavailable podcast. It was released when I did the podcast, and it was up for a while. But after a while, I got kind of sick of it being up. But whatever, it's going back up. This is the 18th episode of the Jerrad Show that I ever recorded. I think there was one podcast that I counted in that 18 where I tried to record in the studio and I didn't have the microphones turned on. I didn't have the board turned on, and I was recording only from the actual MacBook. So I was like, it sounded terrible. But one of those is really bad. I'm pretty sure I counted that one. But so when I first started the show, the first couple of guests, the first couple of shows actually were Daniel. He would just call up and I'd put him on speakerphone and I'd put my my iPod device on and record us talking, and that's how the show originally started. And we were both pretty drunk every time that we did it. And then I don't know when I started having actual guests on. I think it was when I started working at Talkwad Studios. I was like, heck, I mean, I could just use the studio. So I started having, friends. I had Coco the Destroyer in, B Double Deuce. I had him in a couple of times. My brother, Ryan, I had him in. And then I did one show with Mike Catolo, Tracky, and another guy named Buddha. And that was the first time that I had a show that I wasn't really familiar with the people that I was talking with. I mean, as much as I was with my brother and Coco the Destroyer and B Double Deuce. I mean, I know those guys really good. But Tracky and Mike Catolo, I said it weird. It's Catolo. And Buddha, that was a weird show. I might play that show sometime this week if I decide to change it up. But that was the first weird, awkward one. And then I got about 16, 17 episodes in, and I was on Twitter, and I saw that DJ Jammaster Franco, James Franco, Jammaster James. I see, the thing is, I saw he was on Twitter and was like, hey man, you want to do my podcast? And he was like, sure. And I was like, whoa, that's pretty awesome. I didn't expect you to say yes, but okay, cool, let's do a podcast. So I was pretty excited that he said yes, and I was doing shows on Friday afternoons back then, and I remember being on Call of Cthulhu, and I was like, yeah, I'm having James Franco on the show. And he was like, oh, really? That's awesome, dude. And I was like, yeah, he's pretty big guest, James Franco. It's pretty awesome. And he was like, man, that's awesome. The actor? And I go, there's an actor, James Franco? And so no, then I explained who it was. So DJ Jammaster James Franco. He was on the show. He was my first real legitimate guest of like somebody that I didn't know and that I was a fan of. So I don't really know how this is gonna go. I haven't listened to this show in a long time, and I'm probably gonna get so cringed out that I'm gonna have to take off the headphones and rock around in the studio, or walk around outside the studio while this is playing, because I'm recording it right into the board. I'm playing it for the first time. I haven't heard it. So from Hollywood Babble-On and The Breaks from Smodco Network, it's Jammaster James on the Jerrad Show. Enjoy.
That's right, you know the music. So it's time for another episode of The Jerrad Show. Tonight's guest, Mr. James Franco, joins us on the podcast all the way from California via the magical mystery machine of Skype. We're about to kick it off, so get ready, buckle in. Here's another episode of The Jerrad Show. All right, DJ James, what's going on, buddy?
What's up, man? I love that intro theme, man. I was over here jamming to that.
Hell yeah, man. A little Asteroids Galaxy Tour.
Yes.
I heard them a long time ago. They did a little Heineken commercial back maybe 2 years ago, and I was so impressed with them that I actually looked up the rest of their stuff, and I actually chose that song as my intro because it's too awesome.
Wow, yeah, that's dope, man. What are they called again?
It's called Asteroids Galaxy Tour. And I think they're out of, one of those Nordic bands, Switzerland, Denmark, something like that.
Nice. Yeah, I'm going to have to check them out.
Yeah.
Right on, man.
Go ahead. What was that?
I said, right on, man. And then we had uncomfortable silence and dead air. How are you, man? Thanks for having me on your show, man.
Yeah, man, I'm doing great, man. This is actually the first time I've had a Skype call on the podcast. So I'm trying to work things out as we go. But, I'm doing great, man. How are you? I don't know if anybody, really knows what's going on with the podcast. I have James Franco, DJ James, on the podcast right now. He is the producer. You were the producer for Hollywood Babble-On, and you were also the MC for a while?
Yes, I was. For the live shows, I would produce the live elements, like the video clips, the pictures, the music drops, and all that stuff.
Yeah, so every time you heard Anne Heche's Butthole, that was you playing
that, was
playing
me
that, right?
Yeah.
Well, so you're still over there. You were contracted with them, or that was your job. And
yeah.
When Kevin came in, and now you're still over there, and Kevin's somewhere else, right?
Yeah, it's kind of strange because it was a nice, happy family for a while, and much like the real world. Families tend to have disagreements, I guess you could say, and unfortunately, the Lovitts and the Smodco had to part ways. But I still got a roof to keep over my head, and I still work for Lovitts, and I also still work for Kevin. So it's kind of weird, but that is the way Hollywood is, man. I mean, you work for friends and you work for enemies, and not that I have any enemies on either side, but.
Right.
You know what I mean? It's very strange how things can happen here in Hollywood.
Yeah, it is, man. It's a total, mind fuck when you actually start trying to think about, all the things that are going on in Hollywood in the business, man. It's a tough game, and you gotta, play it right. And if you don't, things can happen, So, I mean, you still do podcasts under the Smodcast name, don't you?
Yes, I do. I still have The Breaks, which
is awesome. I love that show. Everybody needs to check out The Breaks.
Right on. Thanks, man. I do S'mornings for them still. I engineer for Ben Glebe's Last Week on Earth.
Awesome.
Yeah. And those are the three main ones. There's a possibility that I may be coming back into the fold on the Babble-On show, but I'm not sure just yet how it's going to work and how we're going to make it work. But please rest assured, people, if you're a Hollywood Babble-On fan, Jammaster James has not given up on working the Anne Heche's Butthole song in.
Yeah, man. It was great having you on, being able to listen to you, because I was first introduced to you, I believe it was May 9th, 2011, when Sir kicked off. You were in there in the studio or in the living room with Jen and Kev, and you were there from day one, correct?
Almost.
Okay.
Almost day one. I was actually in at day, I want to say, 7 or 8. What had happened was they, and I'm not going to give any names up because I don't want to embarrass the guy, but there was another guy that was the engineer and board op for Kevin the first week. And apparently the gentleman didn't live up to, let's just say he didn't live up to Kevin's expectations in a live situation. And so they had already been doing the shows, Hollywood Babble-On and Jay and Silent Bob Get Old at the Lovitz. So they already knew that I worked well under a live pressure situation. So they had let this other guy go basically, and Jordan Muse, Jason's lovely wife, she suggested to Kevin, because they were like, what are we going to do? Who are we going to get to board op since we let this other guy go? And Jordan, bless her heart, she threw my name in the circle there, and Kevin's like, done, let's get him in here. And I was just kind of fell into it. It's crazy, man. I mean, again, it's the nature of Hollywood, I go from watching Jay and Silent Bob, getting stoned watching Jay and Silent Bob, to actually getting the call from Silent Bob saying, I want you to come and work for me.
Yeah, that's a trip, man.
Yeah.
I'm actually I just picked up Tough Shit, and I started reading that, and he talks a lot about going into the business and stuff like that. So I'm just getting my whistle wet on how things are over there in the crazy town of Hollywood.
Yeah. Kevin's seen quite a bit during his career so far, and his books are amazing because he pretty much puts it out there and wears his heart on his sleeve, so to speak. He's a great guy.
Yeah, man, I'm not much of a reader, I'll tell you that much, but I love his podcast, and I love podcasts in general. And, Kev's humor, just, it's awesome to be able to read a book and laugh at the same time. So I haven't, read a book and laughed since maybe I was a kid, little children's stories and stuff like that.
Right.
So, but the breaks, man, I've loved your show since you started it. How long have you been going on now?
I was just talking to Marilyn, my lovely Marilyn, about this last night. So crazy you asked that. Literally, just a couple days ago, it's been 2 years.
2 years. So you guys started back in 2011.
Yeah.
So, yeah, man, I remember when you guys were pushing it. It was just coming out. You had the theme song, and that was probably the number one drive for me to start listening to it. These are the breaks. That's so
Nice.
awesome, dude. So, but yeah, I've been listening recently. You got a dude on there, Nestor, who's pretty cool. I like his little Hispanic flair he's got bringing on to the podcast.
Yes, Nestor. He's a nut. Actually, Nestor was. There were two original co-hosts that I had wanted for the breaks, and the first being Smoothie, Eric Schwartz. Smoothie was a stand-up comedian. He does amazing parodies on YouTube. He's got so many different parodies that he's done. He's got an album called Parodies Nuts, which I think is very clever. But the dude's amazing. And, Mama didn't raise no fool. I'm like, if I'm going to have a co-host, let me get a co-host who already has an established fan base. So I started with Smoothie and Nestor because being that the show is music, obviously music-based, but I didn't want it to primarily be hip-hop, but at the same time, it had to have a street or hip-hop sensibility to it. So Smoothie, heavy-duty hip-hop. The first really, Jewish cat that I met that was that down, with old school hip hop and hip hop in general. It's like, wow, this dude's cool. So he kind of represents that segment. I already knew I was going to bring kind of the Latino West Coast influence, but I wanted an East Coast voice. You know what I mean? I wanted to make sure I had the East Coast covered, so that it wasn't just a West Coast show.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so I made the call to Nestor, because Nestor, and the way I had met him is he won a contest that John Lovitz had at the club when we first opened, called the John Lovitz Find Me a Comic, and Nestor was the winner of that contest. So it was only natural. I was like, let me go with the cat that's hot and that's from the East Coast, and I had no idea at the time that there was so many other factors involved, like that. His wife is a successful director of television show. Right now, she's doing episodes of Hell on Wheels, which stars Common and among others. And she she does a lot of shows like that, and it's just crazy. I didn't know I was getting involved with a cat like that had so many contacts out there, where he ended up scoring like an interview with Ice-T, scored an interview with Common, just crazy stuff like that. So I really wanted to make sure the show itself was well rounded and covered all the bases. So I feel happy that it is what it is. Personally, I'd like to think I want to take it back more towards spotlighting unknowns, but I need to get more submission. A lot of cats just fell off. They listen, but they don't submit. It's like, I need submissions if I'm going to spotlight somebody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I've got a guy that you probably should take a listen to. He's out of Florida here. His name's Theo Lodge, and he is he's a hip hop artist, and he's doing some stuff with Sony, and he's gonna actually be on the podcast in the next 2 weeks. I think I'm gonna be able to get him in, maybe do some live stuff. But he's got stuff all over YouTube and stuff. He's pretty talented individual. His name's Theo. It's like the O Lodge. He's got a weird name. So
Nice.
But
I'm gonna check him out. Yeah, definitely.
yeah. Well, what do you have popping up over on your side of the woods? I mean, is there anything that we need to like take a look at and listen to? I mean, obviously if we check out the breaks, we're going to be able to figure out who we need to listen to. But you got anything for us over here on the Jerrad Show?
You know what? I've been really checking out this cat actually for a few months now, but he just finally uploaded some new stuff to YouTube. Man, you guys got to check this cat out. If this dude gets enough exposure and gets out there big enough, this dude's going to be major and huge. He's a DJ on YouTube, William Muff, M-U-F-F. The dude is fucking badass. Oh, I'm sorry. Can we drop F-bombs on the show?
Yeah. Totally uncensored, man.
All right, just making sure. Yeah, the dude's a wizard on the ones and twos, man. DJ William Muff. I honestly think if this dude gets enough exposure and whatnot, he'll he will be the next big DJ, like Kid Capri, Funk Master Flex. And he's a white kid from I think the Midwest somewhere. So crazy. But what's cool about it is his mixes on YouTube. He's got his an overhead cam showing what he's doing, with his hands on his tables and his mixer. And the dude is just magical. I mean, you really got to check him out.
Yeah, I'm actually trying to type it into YouTube as we're speaking. Maybe we can pull something up. But yeah, I'm in love with some good scratching and some old school hip hop beats and stuff. But I don't really know if that's what he's into.
He does. The crazy thing about him is it's a little bit of everything. I mean, there's one of his mixes where it's like this big, heavy, hip hop kind of heavy beat, and then he's got Hey, stop! Hey, what's that sound? That song.
Oh
yeah. Mixed in the original, so it's like he'll trip your mind out, man. He'll play. He's got a mix where, toward the end it kind of switches up, it stalls out, and then comes up with what's the chick? This is crazy. Call me maybe.
Carly Rae Jepsen.
Yes. See, now I'm not, obviously, I didn't even know her name, so I'm a huge fan of hers, although I do respect that she got out there. But I'm just saying, this dude will fuck your mind up with these amazing mixes to where you're sitting there singing Carly Rae Jepsen and going, wait a minute, I'm not supposed to be singing the song.
Yeah.
So it's nuts. And then you got to be careful, especially if you're driving down the street listening to his mixes, because he will have you singing some shit with your windows open that people will turn and look at you like,
no.
what the fuck is wrong with this guy?
That's awesome, man. So DJ William Muff, I'm definitely going to have to check him out.
Yeah.
Let's see.
And I just had, he's been on the show before, but I just had him on this past Monday. TY from Canada. TEEWHY. Canadian rapper. The dude's badass.
TY.
Yeah.
I think I have heard, either I heard that episode of The Breaks or I've heard of him somewhere else, man. Now what's his deal? Is he's just regular, just out of Canada somewhere? Where's he out of Canada? BC or West
he's
Coast?
Vancouver.
Vancouver, okay.
But dude's he's got some way out there concepts, and his lyrics and everything. I mean, his delivery, and he's just really got a solid delivery and solid rhyme style. Really good dude, man. Really nice guy.
TY is a little bit easier to find on YouTube. He pulled right up.
Yeah, you're still looking for William Muff?
Yeah, I was looking for him for a while.
Why don't you search under now the show takes a boring turn, but search under Respect for My Peoples, I think is his latest one. And you'll get an idea.
Respect for My Peoples.
Yeah. And you'll see it should be a picture of like two turntables with pink vinyl, what you call it, coated vinyl from Serato. Basically two pink records.
Two pink records. Well, yeah. I'm gonna have to check this out, but I'm not. It's
not pulling. That's all right.
Yeah, it's a hell of a.
That's what I'm saying. That kind of gives you an idea. This dude is obviously still what we consider underground.
Yeah, he's so underground that you can't even pull him up on YouTube.
Exactly.
But I do want to check out TY with you if you don't mind. This is a song called Blessings. Do you know about it?
Yes, we actually played that on the breaks the first time it was on.
Okay, well then let's see. Obviously, I'm running from YouTube because there's nothing on Spotify yet of his. But yeah, we're gonna try and kick that off. So with the well, here we go. Let's check it out. TY Blessings.
Hey, get your ass up, man.
So a pretty interesting video to start off with.
Yeah, he's got some crazy stuff. He's got a great team, working for him.
Now, how long has he been out in the into California? Do you know?
Last time he came was the first time he had ever come down here.
Oh, wow.
It was like Labor Day of last year. Yeah.
Labor Day of last year. Damn.
So, yeah, about a year. It's almost been a year.
Shit, time. See what?
Got a long intro on this.
Intro, I know. I hate when they.
It's like almost 2 minutes. I'm trying to skip ahead for the listeners.
Right. Yeah, go ahead and skip ahead. Obviously,
this is the what happens when you do a live podcast with YouTube.
Yeah, this is the wonders of live.
Once a nigga get started, ain't no stopping me. I'm trying to get to my goal. Soccer team, first I count my money, then
All right, well, buffering.
And the old buffer.
Yep. Well, I like it, dude. I really do. This guy looks young. How old is he?
Yeah, he's 28.
28 or 29. He's got a nice flow, man.
Niggas busted us, we coming back. Rebates. I don't fabricate or duplicate, just defecate. On beats, I'm heavyweight like Big Show in the cage. Young nigga with a rage, killing every stage. Block jump, kangaroo. first, we just approved.
Yeah, this is an older one though. I'll tell you one that actually shows more of his like rhyme skills, because he can actually flip up a lot quicker. That was more of a lazy style for him, but
yeah, it's like a laid back kind of just chill
kind of
song.
that southern flow.
Yeah, I like it. I'm into it. I'm definitely gonna have to check out more of him. His name's Ty. That song that you guys just heard was Blessings. So thanks, James. Dude, that guy is awesome.
Now I actually found Muff really quick because I've already been searching for him. So
okay, cool.
I'm gonna play something really quick and let you check out just the beginning, because it's about a 13-minute mix. I'm not gonna do that to you guys, but hit buffer. There we go. All right, hang on. Let me start it off from the beginning here. It's actually under DJ Muff, M-U-F-F. So he dropped his William, I guess. Come on. Yeah. Live on the air.
Oh, yeah.
I've been hanging on the phone. I've been sitting all alone. I won't kiss you.
See, he's just going from... He doesn't give a fuck about genres.
Yeah.
Sticking to him. And keep in mind, this is all on camera, so you're seeing him do all these tricks live.
Wow. And it's all live too.
Yeah. Anyway, so that's a little bit of DJ Muff right there.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. He's scratching. Oh, nice.
Right?
So he just goes back and forth between all kinds of different music.
Yes.
Oh,
everything. He throws everything into the mix. So
that is awesome.
Definitely got to check him out. This one right here is DJ Muff. Respect for my peoples.
Respect for my peoples. Definitely got to hit that up, man. Does he have an album, or is he just dropping singles now?
He's just dropping these mixes, literally these video mixes, on YouTube. I haven't found him anywhere else. Like literally, like I don't even think on like Mixcloud or SoundCloud or Reverb Nation, nothing like that. I think he's just strictly a cat that uploads his mixes, videos of him mixing
right
to YouTube, and it's amazing. It's crazy.
Man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, let's get into let's talk about a little bit of something else. I mean, you're pretty out there with pretty in there with the whole entertainment industry out there. Got anything, movies or TV shows that we should, check out that you're liking, that you're into, or anything like that?
Oh man, I've been terrible as far as keeping up with stuff because I work in the club, working for Smodco, and trying to maintain my own shows, independent shows. It's like I've fallen behind, so I'm like literally just catching up finally on Dexter.
Oh, awesome!
On that, yeah. And I fucking love Dexter. Dexter is so hairball, man. I just love the way they write that show. It's just crazy. But that, and I'm dying. I can't wait for the next season of Walking Dead.
Oh yeah, man, totally. Yeah, I'm a huge Walking Dead fan. I've probably seen every episode twice. I guess anybody who calls himself as a fan has probably watched every episode twice. They play it once and then they play it again.
Yeah. Yeah, it's an amazing show as well, and I can't wait for that. So those are the two things, on my radar right now. I don't know. I think the Jay and Silent Bob cartoon movie is now available. And I'll only bring that up because I have one line in it.
Oh yeah, super groovy cartoon movie. Is it available? Where can we get it now? Is it on Netflix yet, or?
I'm not sure if he's put it up to Netflix yet, but you can definitely go to smodcast.com and find out exactly where, if you can get it direct from the site or if it is available on Netflix and whatnot.
Awesome, man. Yeah, definitely stoked to check that out. They came over here to St. Petersburg back a couple months ago, and I wasn't able to make it out to there. But I've seen Jay and Kev a couple times when they came to Florida, so I wasn't too disappointed, and I knew I would eventually see the movie. So I'm excited, man. You've got a part in the movie?
Yeah, I play the photographer. I have one line. It's, okay, little girl, say cheese. Pretty much it. And I was a little worried about how that was going to be drawn into the movie. It doesn't sound like a very promising line.
Yeah, they could put anything in that, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Now, what was it like working with Jason in the, production aspect of this?
Jason is an amazing person. Just let me get that out there, because the guy has, he still, deals with, his sobriety and
right.
And holding on to that, which, I commend him for. It's been an amazing journey for him. But in the process, he has blossomed into this really, hardworking guy. He really has a great work ethic, and he really, truly cares about everyone he works with. The guy's got a huge heart. He's such a nice guy. He may seem a little skittish at times, but after, a fucking case of Red Bull, because that's his new thing.
Yeah.
He traded one for the other, which I'll deal with Red Bull any day over fucking the other shit.
Yeah, I'd rather him be up than down,
Down, yeah. Because he's amazing. When he's up, he's just got ideas popping out of his brain when he's not watching, what are those, twerking videos, popping videos and shit. He loves that shit.
Hell yeah. Who
Something
couldn't?
I gotta say. I'm sure he said it. We've said it on This Morning before, but yeah, he loves to watch those videos.
Hell yeah, man. So, when you went into the studio to record, what was that like? Have you ever done voiceover work before or anything like that?
I've done commercials and and little stuff. But back when I had my my rap group, BPM, and so we and I'd obviously been used to being in the studio and recording, so it wasn't a big deal. Plus, the studio wasn't a big fancy studio for my one line.
Right.
What I did was I walked out of the bedroom into my office and just recorded my lines.
Oh, so you just did it right there at your own place?
Yeah, just did it right there and sent it into them. That's the wonders of technology now.
Yeah, that's awesome, man.
So those of you out there aspiring to be voiceover artists, work on it. I mean, do it. Just do it. Get what you need to do it at home and make it as clean sounding as possible. And who knows, man, you start sending out demos and stuff and people start picking you up. I mean, lately at the Lovitz, I've been working with, there's a show on Wednesdays called Talkin' Tunes with a gentleman by the name of Rob Paulson, who's a huge, a voice-over actor. He's done the voice of Pinky from Pinky and the Brain, Yakko from Tiny Toon, or what was the tune, whatever tunes.
Yeah, definitely. You had that as an intro for one of the Breaks episodes.
Oh yeah. Actually, I do have the intro. It's got everyone on there. SpongeBob. The actor is Tom Kenny. Man, and just all those characters that I have on there. It's crazy that I got those guys to do that. But those guys, they're amazing. That's an amazing world. A community, I should say. They're very tight knit. They all know each other by name. The fans are. It's very much like a Smodco community, where I like to call it the Smodomites. Very much like the Smodomites, but here are grown people wearing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle T-shirt. You know what I mean? And literally not just T-shirts, but like the backpack, the shell backpack.
Oh, awesome.
All that stuff. So, it's almost like a mini Comic-Con every time we have that show there, depending on who the guest is that he has. And he's had some great guests like Tom Kenny, SpongeBob, and June Foray, one of the original voiceover actors. She was the voice of Granny in the original Looney Tunes, and she was Witch Hazel, the Bugs Bunny cartoon with the witch.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, she was Natasha from Bullwinkle.
Oh yeah, definitely a distinct voice. Totally.
Yeah. So it just things that, people like that, and it's amazing to have met those folks. And here I am with this one puny line in a cartoon, and these folks have literally built homes and careers and lives and sent kids to college.
Right.
On goofy voices.
Yeah. Yeah,
Like,
it's a
what
trip.
the fuck? Why are we not getting that money? You know what I mean? It's crazy, but you really got to be dedicated to it, because there is more than just, I'm going to do a goofy voice.
Right.
I mean, there's a science to it. You're going to need a little more of the timbre on your voice. The director's going to tell you shit, and if you don't know what they're talking about, you're going to go, what? Okay, so louder, or you're going to be lost, because it actually is an art.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely is, man. There's little nuances that, subtleties that you got to pick up on and, portray as your character, definitely.
Yeah.
As somebody who's always been into the radio and now into podcasts, I've always been into, messing with my voice and recording it and, doing little voices and stuff. So that's always, it's a killer idea that you can think about it, that these people are actually making a living, and a very good living at that. So.
Oh, yeah.
You can do pretty much anything you want to nowadays with the technology and the way things are going, man. That's one thing that I've definitely picked up reading Tough Shit again. Anything is possible nowadays, as long as you put yourself out there, anything can happen, man. So, but again, let's plug that show, because it sounds like a great show, the podcast.
Yes, Talking Tunes.
Talking Tunes.
Rob Paulson. That's
Paulson.
available on iTunes. And you guys will get a surprise little references, and you'll hear me sometimes chime in, or you'll hear Rob talk to me directly from the stage, because we do it live at Beloved. So
right.
It's crazy. Sometimes I wonder, when did I become like the behind the scenes podcast guy? I'm like popping up on everyone's podcast, but unannounced. I'm like the guy showing up with a half drank bottle of whiskey going, hey, where's the party at, man? I'm that guy.
That's awesome. Well, back in the day when you were doing stuff with Hollywood Babble-On and doing the MC for that, man, I remember catching the very end of Hollywood Babble-On. It's probably my favorite little quips or line that you had at the end. Something about drunk and calling you a cab or something like that. How does that go?
That is I've been doing that since I worked for the Improv. I kind of coined that little exit phrase. And that was way back. I started doing that in 2001, but it's very simple. Hey, as always, we ask that you drive safely on your way home. And if you don't feel you can drive safe, please let one of us know. We will be more than happy to call you a cab, call you a drunk, and push you out the door.
Yeah. That was awesome, dude.
Yeah.
That was one of my favorite little bits at the end of Hollywood Babble-On. Every time I'd stay all the way through to the end, and even through the music, and as they were lowering the levels, I would turn it up just so I could hear that little bit. It was fucking awesome. It's the funniest little end to a show that you could get, man. Because there's some drunk assholes and love it. I've heard a couple a couple of episodes where it just seemed like it got out of control with the drunks.
Oh yeah, there was the laugher, and I remember for a while there was the laugher, which it wasn't that he was a drunk. I don't know if you remember these episodes.
Yes, I do. He was just obnoxiously loud and laughing.
Yeah, and that was I didn't live with the guy, so I can't tell you if that was honestly the way he laughed at home or not. But I watched him, and over the course of that time, every time he was there, it seemed like that was his natural laugh. It wasn't like he was forcing that laugh out. And it's just too bad because he always wanted to sit in the middle, which was basically right under the damn crowd mic.
Right.
So everyone, every episode you would hear him so clear because he was right under the crowd mic, to the point where we finally had to tell him, look, man, and we were nice about it. We were like, bro, you need to sit on the second floor or something and not be under the crowd mic, because fuck, we can't hear anything over your fucking cackling.
Yeah, it was pretty fucking bad, man. He was really loud. Also, you get the drunk chicks that want to start talking shit, and then if Ralph decides to heckle him back or something, then they think they're smart and they try to come at him with some more drunk bullshit.
Yeah,
So,
and that's unfortunately that's a byproduct of the live comedy club show, because a lot of people think that is I don't know why. Well, they don't think because they're drunk, but once they get drunk, they feel like maybe something in their brain goes back to a movie they've seen or a TV show or maybe fucking Seinfeld or something.
Yeah.
Where they think that's the way you're supposed to act in a comedy club. It's like, no, you're supposed to shut the fuck up or laugh.
Yeah.
Not yell shit out.
Yeah, because I don't think they understand that they're fucking ruining it for everybody else in the theater,
Exactly. And, it is what it is. Now, what you don't hear is the, when those things happen, is the security coming over and eventually and leaning over and whispering into the ear, I'm going to need you to keep it down or I'm going to have to remove you from the premises. And it's as nice as possible. But there have been times, there was a guy, it wasn't an HBO show, thank God, but there was a guy, it was just a regular stand-up show, and the comedian made the mistake of addressing a drunk heckler. And they were going back and forth, and the drunk heckler said he was a comedian, and which obviously he was not,
right.
or at least he wasn't a seasoned comedian by any way, shape, or form, because he would have known better than to, disrespect and
right.
interrupt another comedian on stage. So the comic on stage finally has had enough, and he comes with, of course, with what anyone else, I'm sure what anyone else would think, oh yeah, you think you're so good, why don't you come up here and try this? And the guy gets up and starts toward the stage. Now, I had a door guy at the time. I had to post. I always had my door guys posted, on either side of the room, whatnot, so that if something like this happened, they could deal with it quickly, And this friggin' door guy, man, he was new. Well, it was like maybe his second week, so he hadn't been presented with something like this, a situation like this yet. And so the guy starts going towards the stairs to go up onto stage, and he's standing there, like looking at the guy, like as he starts up the stairs. So mind you, now I have to come from 3 floors up, down 3 flights of stairs to get to the stage, to get to this guy, because my door guy has totally frozen at this point. He doesn't know what to do. And I literally got down those 3 flights of stairs and up onto the stairs, the stage stairs, before this guy hit the last step up. And there's only like 6 steps up to the stage. I don't even know how I did that. But I got there. I got up there.
Superhuman strength.
Yeah, right. Well, because I knew that it's like, this is not going to end well, and I don't need, I don't want to be sitting here explaining to the police after the show what happened. So I ran down there and I got up there just as the guy's getting up, onto the stage itself. And I get up there, get in front of him, and lean into him, and I just whisper into his ear, unless you want this to be the most embarrassing fucking time of your life, I suggest you get the fuck off my stage.
Awesome. That is awesome.
The guy turns around and goes right off the stage. Like, all right.
There's nothing you can do when you get presented with an offer like that,
Yeah. It's like, I can't. This is my job. You're fucking with my job right now.
Yeah, man.
Stage.
Seriously.
Yeah, it happens. I've been at the Improv. I've been in the middle of all out, barroom brawls. I mean, there have been times, and one particular time it was Mike Epps' crowd, and there was a party of like 25 people that came to see him, and they were being loud. And my door guy went over and asked them, more than once to quiet down. And of course, they were all drunk and shit, so they all stood up. All the guys in this group stood up, and these guys looked like fucking Crips from Compton somewhere.
Oh shit!
Yeah, I mean they were pretty nasty looking hombres, and they basically circled my door guy. So I ran over and stood next to my door guy and was like, well, I guess this is this is how it's going to end. I guess we're going to have to go shoulder to shoulder. And Mike Epps sees that going on, jumps off the stage, runs down into the crowd, and stands back to back with us and says, if it's going to go down, you motherfuckers aren't jumping my homeboys. I know you paid to come see me, but you're not going to jump my homeboys right in front of me while I'm on stage. So he basically backed us up against his own fans. And when they saw that, they calmed down. Everything calmed down. They sat back down. But, I got to give kudos to Mike Epps for that. Mike Epps, a real motherfucker.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. Stepping down off the stage, that's legit, man. That's pretty fucking awesome that he would, back him up like that. So
yeah.
But yeah, man, that's pretty fucking scary. Fucking having some crazy ass people about to fucking throw down in the club, man. What is that? Probably the worst.
No, worst.
Have you ever gotten injured?
I haven't gotten injured on the job, thank God, knock on wood. But no, I could have got shot on the job more than once, and one time in particular, it was at the Ontario Improv, and it was I don't remember who our headliner was, but he was a fairly well-known comic at the time from Def Comedy Jam days, and we're walking him out, we being myself and my head door guy, the same guy that we were just encircled and about to fight the whole crowd. He and I are walking our headliner out to his car, and it happened to be the same night as the release of the Tupac Resurrection movie.
Oh, yep.
Yeah. And this is at the Ontario Mills Mall in Ontario, California, and the Improv there is right across a courtyard from the movie theater. So as we're walking this person out, the crowds are letting out from the movie theaters, and this is late, it's the end of the night. At least it had to have been probably 12:30, 1 o'clock, something like that. And so they're letting out, and I guess, there's some shit, maybe there was some shit talking started inside the theater. So by the time they had gotten out to their cars, the one guy had just got his car from the valet, and all of a sudden we just see this other guy come running from the dark, the parking lot in the dark area where I guess where his car was, and he just starts fucking unloading into the guy's car, shooting.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, just starts shooting into the guy's car like horribly. And when I say horribly, I mean he was a horrible shot. He hit the guy. He killed the fucking upholstery. But he did not hit the fucking guy. Either that or the guy had Jesus riding with him. I don't know what was going on. But
one of those Pulp Fiction hits.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, exactly. I'm sure there was probably a tracing of bullet holes around the guy, but he did not hit the guy in the car. But while that's happening, we had to grab our headliner and hustle him back to the club. Into the club, away from, the opposite direction of the shooting. And so I grab him, I take him back into the club, and, everyone's scattering in the courtyard. Excuse me. And my head door guy, Gibbs was his name. Gibbs. Looked like Gimli from Lord of the Rings.
Oh, awesome.
Looked just like him, so we
Awesome.
call him Ghibli. But anyway, Gibbs, he sees an elderly couple standing there in the courtyard, and they, they're horrified. They don't know what to do. They're old people, and they're just huddled together, standing there, I guess, waiting to get shot and die together. It was horrible.
Yeah.
And so Gibbs runs out there, grabs them both, and I feel like he might have picked them both up for a quick second and carried them for about 2 steps, but he basically grabbed them and hustled them into the club, and we got them out of the way of danger, out of harm's way. But it was insane. But that was just another Saturday night in Ontario. That was the difference. And at the Lovitz, it's a lot more tame. We don't go through that sort of thing because we're on Universal Studios property, so they don't let that shit happen.
Yeah. They got a little bit more locked down. So this was at the Improv up in Toronto?
This is Ontario, California. It was actually in Ontario and California.
Okay, yeah, no, I do know of Ontario, California. You just threw me off there for a second.
Yeah.
So, damn, man, that is a crazy story, man.
Yeah.
Anytime you got somebody bringing a fucking gun to a theater or something like that, it's fucking crazy. I don't think we really have much of that out here in Florida with people bringing guns and popping them out like that, no problem pulling them out, because basically everybody down here has a gun and a lot of them are concealed, so you never know who's gonna you pull a gun, you better be ready to have a duel, an old school Wild West times,
Yeah.
So luckily we don't have that much shit because I don't think there's many people that are afraid to kill somebody down here in Florida.
Yeah, so. Apparently not. I think we just found that out. Aren't they from Florida?
Yeah. Yep. The whole Zimmerman, Trayvon case. Yeah, man.
I was just shopping for another gun, I heard.
Yeah, he was. I heard that he was. Well, I mean, he's allowed to have a gun, dude.
He's allowed. And I'm ex-military, so I totally agree that everyone should be able to bear arms. But the guy who just got off a murder case might want to fucking chill on gun shopping for a while, especially since the whole country pretty much, or a good portion of the country, would like to fucking shove the gun up his ass. I mean,
that's one thing that he's got to think about. He's got all these fucking idiots out there that think that they know what's right, and they want to, come after him.
They want to, exact their own, justice.
So I can't fault him for, wanting to keep himself protected. I heard some of the crazy stuff, like he saved, a family in Texas from a car crash or something crazy like that.
I think he has the same PR rep as what was it, Hancock. He's got the same guy because it's like he acquitted for murder and saves a family like 3 days later.
Yep.
I mean, I know the guy's just trying to get on with his life, but you have to. I would, for me, I think I would be a little more low key.
Definitely.
Hang a little lower than that.
Yeah, it's crazy. We just started dying down over here because as it was popping off, it was everywhere, especially here in Florida. I know it was all over the country, but especially in Florida.
Oh, man, it had to have gotten heated there.
Yeah, they were really just driving it home. And you've got a lot of assholes here that just want, they think their opinion is right and can't take anybody else's opinion for, even for a second. There's people that are totally against the guns, and then people that are just racist idiots that are like, oh, well, he probably shouldn't have been out there, and he probably shouldn't have came back up to him and all this. It's really ridiculous. I'm glad it's over until I just brought it back up on my podcast.
Yeah, no, I did. I have to apologize for that. Let's get back to face eating. Another Florida tradition.
Yes, that is a pastime here.
Yeah.
With the also the number one substance in Florida, the bath salts.
The bath salts.
A lot of people are totally clueless as to what bath salts are, but I'll tell you what, James, I am probably one of the few people that you're going to meet that has actually researched bath salts.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I have. Down here in Florida, it was legal and it was everywhere. Every little head shop, you couldn't go into a little head shop with anybody. Hey, check this out. This is pretty good stuff. And I'm like, what? You're crazy. Finally, I checked it out, and yeah, it's too much, man. I could totally see how people could eat faces off with that shit.
Wow. See, out here, I tried it, and I don't know. It didn't work for me. I snorted Calgon. It didn't work. I moved on.
Yeah, I mean, you might have had some bunk shit out there, but in Florida, this shit was crazy, man. I was like, I can't even compare it to any other drug. I'm 27. I've played the game with, fucking around since I got out of high school with, partying and all that shit. And I've calmed down substantially and, as I'm growing up. But yeah, there's nothing like that bath salt shit. I mean, I mean, I've tried, Coke or whatever and all that shit, and it's insane. I could definitely see how somebody would want to bite somebody's face off. You gotta kind of be crazy in the first, to get go. But yeah, dude, it's wild, man.
That's nuts, man. That's crazy. So I'll give you. I don't know how much time do you have?
We're looking at about 10 minutes, but we can run over if we have to.
Well, no worries. I was going to say I've got 3 stories here you can choose from if you want to hear about.
Okay.
This is something I do on the show sometimes. I have the stripper-in-law story, or the smoking and skating with Snoop and Chappelle, or Moose Attack. I'll let you decide which you want to hear about.
All right. So we've got strippers, Snoop Dogg, and a Moose Attack.
Yes.
Moose Attack. It's intriguing.
Moose Attack. All right. The Moose Attack. This was when I was in the Air Force. I was on temporary duty in Alaska at Anchorage, Alaska at Elmendorf Air Force Base. And on Elmendorf Air Force Base, there's an actual nature preserve. Basically, the whole fucking place is wilderness, but in the middle of this base, there's actually a preserve area. So a little lake, and my buddy and I went down there in our little government Dodge Ram pickup truck to go down to the lake and kind of hang out and trip out on nature. Well, we get down there, and we have to drive down this little dirt road incline, or a gravel road kind of incline, to get down there. And as we get down there, we're like, oh, wow, check it out. We see a moose across the way, maybe about 100 yards away and whatnot. So we're like, wow, let's get the camera out. Let's film him. Check it out. Apparently, moose don't like to be filmed because this one saw us, noticed that we come down there, and we stopped, and we were looking at him, pointing, and then we have the camera out. And he drops his head down, and he does that little pawing thing with the front foot, the front paw, where he starts scratching the ground. Like, yeah, that doesn't look good.
He's getting ready to charge you.
Yeah. I'm like, I think we need to get the fuck out of here. So my buddy jumps in the driver's seat, he hits it, and we're just spinning out because it's an incline and it's a gravel road, and we got the shitty little Dodge Ram 50, D50, whatever, pickup. So it's not getting any traction and going up. And now the moose has started into a full-on charge. And I'm like, oh, my God, we're going to die. So I jumped out, and which is even worse. I jumped out and went behind the truck.
Okay.
Started pushing the truck. But the moose is coming that way. He's coming towards me, towards the back of the truck. So I'm probably going to get impaled at this point.
Oh, no.
Is what it looks like is going to happen. And literally, just like the movies, he was maybe, 20 feet away from us, and the tires finally caught traction, and I literally jumped into the bed of the truck as it caught traction, pulled myself in, and we just avoided being rammed by this huge. And moose are not, Bullwinkle's cute,
right?
In the cartoon. In person, they're about fucking 8-9 feet tall.
Yeah, they're huge.
They're huge, and they're fucking horrifying animals to see up close when they're mad at you. If they were standing on 2 fucking hooves going, hey, we're going to go do this. That's good. I can hang with that news. Not the one that's dropping his head and fucking scratching the ground. That's never good. So that was the first moose attack. I actually had 2 encounters with moose in Alaska. The other time, the same buddy and I were coming out of the, it's basically the on lodging for temporary duty personnel. So like the hotel, I guess.
Right.
And we're coming out of the side of the building, and we get about 10 steps out, and there's another one. It might have been the same one. He might have got the license plate number. But there's another one standing there about this time. He was literally like maybe 50 feet away, and he looks at us and does the same thing. He drops his head and starts scratching the ground, and we're like, fuck it. We literally about faced and ran back into the building. But they're obviously not afraid of humans up there because they're protected, so
right.
you're not supposed to fuck with them, and they can, if they want to roam into your yard or whatever, that's pretty much what they get to do. And the last moose attack of this period was the other side of the coin. There was a pilot. I didn't know the guy, but he was flying logging hours in the A-10 because that's what they have, the A-10 Warthogs.
Right.
Up there.
Those badass planes.
Oh, man. Those are the ones, for those that are unfamiliar, those are the ones with the Gatling gun in the front and the nose.
That thing, the gun runs almost the entire length of the plane, though. It's a huge cannon that just sits, that shoots from the nose. And it's got this really cool technology that allows it to shoot through the propeller or whatever. Yes.
The propellers lag at the point of the bullets passing through, so they're synchronized so that it'll never hit the props or hit anything, and fuck it up.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Yeah, it's crazy how it can count the revolutions that quick. Yeah. It's insane, man. So how long were you up in Alaska?
I was there for about I guess about almost 6 months. Yeah.
And you were in the military? Were you Air Force?
I was Air Force. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Yeah, my buddy's down in Keesler Air Force Base over in Biloxi, Mississippi.
Yeah, Biloxi.
Yeah, he's over there. He's got about another year or so, and he's counting down the days till he gets out of that, man.
Yeah, I remember. We had a base out there that Hurricane Andrew or something took out. There was a base down in Florida, because I only know because it was the shop there was our counterpart in California, because I was with the ground comm group, communications group, and they were our counterparts out there. I can't remember the friggin' Air Force base now, but
the only other one that I can think of is in Florida. I think there's one in Jacksonville. It might be a Navy base, but I know that we have MacDill Air Force Base here in Tampa.
Yeah, no, there was another one, but it got leveled by a hurricane, so I guess they didn't rebuild it.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. Yeah, we get some serious storms coming through here. I mean, every afternoon we get a terrible thunderstorm, enough to scare the shit out of tourists, anybody who comes over here.
Yeah.
But right around 5 o'clock, 4:30, it just slams, man.
That's crazy. And is it during the summer, or when do you guys get it most?
Yeah, it's usually it starts up around beginning of July, and then right up until now, the beginning of September, and even through September, we're about halfway through the hurricane season, and right about now is when we start seeing all the really bad storms pop up. I mean, Katrina was a September storm or an October storm. I don't really remember, but a lot of the really powerful storms are later in the hurricane season. So we're looking at them coming up.
Wow. Well, I'm pulling for you guys. Hopefully, you guys get some a reprieve from that shit this year, man. Because it's just been the last few years. Your whole region has just been getting bombarded with shit. Obviously with Katrina and the others, man. But it's crazy.
Yeah, man, definitely. It is crazy, the storms that are popping up now. And they're saying that it's all because of global warming and all this stuff that we're doing to the planet. But, I've seen crazy storms, and I've been here in Florida my whole life. And there's bad storms, and there's worse storms, and then there's, little storms, So... Yeah. You can't really blame. I can't really see it, being affected by, the whole global warming thing. But they say that there's going to be one of those 100-year storms like Sandy every year now.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's kind of scary, man. They say that we're fucking up our planet, but, you can only take someone's, word or opinion without, facts behind it so far.
I think it's all the hairspray in Jersey Shore.
It could be. They are fucking polluting it, man. But all right, man. I think we're going to wrap it up here. I really, really had a great time having you here on the podcast. Hopefully we can do it again sometime in the future.
Anytime, man. Anytime. And I'll make sure I have better stories for you guys, too.
Oh, man, this is great. I love moose attacks and, awesome fucking improv stories and crazy fucking heckler stories. It's awesome, dude. Again, thanks so much for being on the podcast. Check us out at JerradShow.com. And if you want to do a podcast and you're in the Tampa Bay area, Talkwad Studios. That's where we're doing it, and we're doing it every time, man. Again, thanks, DJ James Franco. You've been a blast, man. It's been a great guest.
I have had such a great time. Thank you so much for having me, and to all your listeners. Support this guy, man. This guy's got a great show. Support him. Tell your friends about him. Tell your friends to tell their friends about him. It's a Jerrad Show. Why wouldn't you?
Hell yeah, man. And if you didn't catch it already, The Breaks with DJ James, man. Check it out if you haven't already. All right, man. We're going to be back in here next week with Fisher. You know, he lost his job at 102.5. Now he's in the podcast studio with Jerrad. So that's it for this week. Have a great week. Peace.
Peace.
All right, so that was Jammaster James. I got to be honest with you, I didn't listen to very much of it at all. I took the headphones off and I left the studio for a little bit and kept coming in and out. I watched a video on YouTube. What do I have to say about this show? The problem with this show is I didn't know how to do a show at that point. There was too much interruption of the guest. I mean, I really didn't like it. I thought it was very cringy. The beginning of the show was very cringy. It's so hard to listen to it. So if you listen to the entire thing, congratulations. Also, it's like 11:30 at night, and I'm ready to get out of here. So, I'm not even ready. I'm ready to get out of here, but I don't have any music to get me out of here. So, I got to find some sort of music, put that on, so I could, tell you to go to, what is it? Etsy.com/shop/freshlightprint. And that's where you can get Freshlight Print cards, sarcastic cards, and greeting cards and birthday cards and all that stuff. You can go there right now. Let's actually look at that right before we get out of here. We're gonna go over to the Facebook. That's the easiest way for me to find them. It's facebook.com/freshlightprint. And let me see where can I get in here? Come on. The internet's a little slow, I guess. The internet's a little slow right now. Okay, there we go. Freshlight Prints. Come on. Come on. There we go. Go click over to it. Jesus. Okay, so yeah, Etsy.com/people/freshlightprints. No, shop/freshlightprint. And the place is called Freshlight Prints. And why are they funny? That's what I say to myself. Why are these guys funny? So let's click on the website and see. It doesn't happen overnight. It's like inspirational quotes that you wouldn't normally see, like do epic shit. And then it's got a really cool hand-painted watercolor wreath and flowers, and it's really neat. This is a congratulations for your engagement. This one says, I actually like the both of you. Do you know how rare that is? And then it says, congratulations on your engagement. So they're just, fun, sarcastic cards that you can use instead of, your regular Hallmark cards. And the best part about that is if you go to there right now, over to Etsy.com/shop/freshlightprint, and you find a card that you like, which obviously you're going to. There's like 40 different cards and sayings and stuff. You're going to love it. If you find something you like, go ahead and put in the code JerradShow18, and you'll get free shipping to anywhere in the United States. I'm pretty sure it's the United States. It might be North America, but I know it's definitely, if you're in the U.S., free shipping, JerradShow18. You'd be helping out the show and helping out, Freshlight Prints, because they're awesome. So go check that out. Go to JerradShow.com to listen to all of the episodes of The Jerrad Show, including last night's episode, Justin Scarred. I replayed that one. And tomorrow night, I'm thinking I'm going to play the currently unavailable podcast with me and Andrew Barber. He's a comedian out of Canada, out of Vancouver. You've seen him in the Jimmy Dean sausage commercials. He's got a mustache and some sunglasses, kind of got a goofy look. But this is way before that. This is when I was a fan of him on YouTube, and I play a couple of his songs that he was doing because he makes songs too. It's going to be a great show. Be sure to tune in tomorrow. And thanks for listening tonight, guys. Seriously. But if you want to, go to JerradShow.com. Thanks.